Hello everybody, and welcome back to In the Stands, and welcome to a round 8 preview for the NRL for 2021. It's just me today doing my tips and my team of the week for last round, like the usual. Yes, so I'm going to head straight into my team of the week for round 7, the Anzac round. It was a terrific round, it was a few great games the last round. Anyway, so this is the 1 to 17 that I've chosen from last round. My fullback is Tom Trbojevic. My wingers are Micah Sevo and Brian To'o. My centres are Remus Smith and Will Hopewati. My halves, five both is Benji Marshall. My halfback is Daly Cherry Evans. My front rowers are Lindsay Collins and Martin Tapau. The hooker is Sam Verrills. My second rowers are Keon Kolamatangi and David Fafita. My lock is Bryce Cartwright, and my bench is Jerome Hughes, Luke Thompson, Stili Tuponua, and the 17 is Jared Warrior-Hargraves. So it was actually quite hard from the start. There were some other players that could fit into the position here, but in different positions. What I mean, especially in the wingers, Corey Thompson, I probably could have added him possibly, but I thought I go through the list. Tom Trbojevic, he's a no-brainer. He was excellent coming back from injury. His second week back from injury. Micah Sever scored a hat-trick, so I have to have him there. Brian To'o ran over 300 metres. Remus Smith, very good against the Warriors for Melbourne. Scored 2 tries. Will Hopewati, I think he had the most run meters for the Warriors, I believe, at least as an outside back anyway. Benji Marshall, absolutely outstanding, and Daly Evans as well. Collins, very good for the Roosters in the front row. Tapau, and going forever. Dave Fafita, hat-trick, Anyway, going forever, but this is the list that I've chosen. I did choose Bryce Cartwright at lock, even though he did come off the bench. If you go to the NRL website where it says select your team of the week, he's chosen under the lock selection. He might have played a bit of lock and second row. I was originally going to start him, but anyway, he's in the side nonetheless. For some other players, also thought Sam Walker was very good. He was likely to miss out in this team of the week, but I thought Jerome Hughes, I thought he was outstanding anyway. But anyway. My player of the round goes to Benji Marshall. I was a little bit unsure to either choose him, Tom Trbojevic, or Daly Cherry Evans, but I've gone Benji Marshall. He's looking like he's young again, even though he's 36 years old. Scored 2 tries, came with a number of try assists and try involvements. I thought it was outstanding with Latrell Mitchell being out. I thought Rabbitohs were very good, especially in the second half at least, and he took a big part of that Benji. Okay, moving on to round 8 preview. My tips. The first game of the round is the Canberra Raiders up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Change for the Raiders. Josh Papali has been rested, so that's a big call from Ricky Stewart to rest him. He has said that he wants the old Papali back, or Papali'i, however you want to say it. Papali'i is the correct pronunciation. Yes, he has dropped Josh Papali'i. I'm not sure if he's in reserves or not. He's dropped out of the side fully. I don't know whether they've now cut the reserve now to 2 reserves. It's Wednesday now, but that's what they've done. Jared Croker is out too with a shoulder injury. So Bailey Simonson comes back into the side from injury, and Sebastian Kris is in the centres. Harry Norris starts, and Tarpany is back on the bench. For the Rabbitohs, they have an unchanged side, except for Junior Tola, which he has been ruled out only a couple of hours ago, I believe. So Patrick Mago comes onto the bench. What do I think about the Raiders? Well, the Raiders have been very disappointing. Probably the most underwhelming side so far this year, at least in the top 8. Their attack's been very lackluster. Even their defence have been leaking a lot of points over the last couple of weeks. Leaked nearly 100 points over the last 3 games. So they've lost 3 on the trot, which is not good at all. And Ricky Steele's been dropping plays left, right, and centre. I don't know whether that's the right decision. In some circumstances, I mean, sure you need to, but since this side is to come to a success, they have been successful before with this team. I don't know whether dropping players is going to help as such, unless they're playing really bad. But that's his decision. Yeah, so Rays will really need to get up for this game, otherwise you're in a bit of trouble. Rabbitohs first half, they leaked nearly 20 points against the Titans, and I thought it's going to be upset. Titans are going to win. David Feeder scored a hat trick first half, and I thought Rabbitohs aren't looking too good here. Second half, they put 30 on the Titans, so that just shows how good of an attacking team they were. Cody Walker at fullback seemed unfazed at all. He took a freakish catch at the back. I couldn't believe he caught it. So, with the loss of Mitchell, they seem to be all right. Benji Marshall, as I said, was outstanding. Yeah, look, they're just looking really good, Souths. Even though they haven't been great the last 2 weeks, obviously very good last week. What I mean is defensive-wise, so they really have to figure something in defence. They still leak 30 points up against the Titans, so they'll really have to fix that, Souths. But I think South's in a much better position than the Raiders for sure. They've been excellent. They've won 6 in a row, I believe, South. So that is excellent. What are my tips for this round? This game, sorry. I'm going to tip South to win by 12. I think they'll be too good here. I think Rays will show up and score more points better than last week. It could be a closer game early on, but I think by the middle part of the second half, sorry. I think South will run away with it, and I think they'll score a few more tries on the Raiders. So I'm going to tip South to win by 12, 28 points to 16. My anytime try scorers, in fact, my first try scorer is Dane Gagai, and my anytimes are Cody Walker and Sebastian Chris. The next game is the Melbourne Storm up against the Cronulla Sharks. Changes for the Storm. George Jennings is out with a concussion, a head knock. Same with Nelson Asafa-Solomona. So they're both out for Melbourne. Riley Jackson's on the bench. For Nukin, he played last week, so just checking that. And Tom Eisenhuth is at centre. For the Sharks, big in here, Will Chambers. He has replaced Josh Dugan at centre. This is his first game back in the NRL for about a year and a bit, I suppose, a year and a half-ish. He obviously played for Melbourne. He's playing up against his old club, so this should be really good to see. He's a little bit of a grub. He is a grub. Will Chambers used to be a grub. So I think he'll offer Sharks a lot of experience, I reckon, and especially against his old side, will try and give it to them. So he has replaced Josh Dugan, who's been dropped last week for his poor form, and Matt Moylan's in reserves too. So I think he got ruled out late last week with an injury, but he's in reserve now. And Sifa Talakai is suspended with that shoulder charge, what do you want to call it. But there are some few big ins here as well. I didn't see this, sorry. Wade Graham and Aiden Tolman are in. So Tolman, I don't know why Tolman's he's past his best. I don't know. He never was an outstanding player. Look, he tried. He does a fair job for a team, whoever he plays for. But I don't know how much he's actually going to offer. The Sharks and Aaron Woods as well. I don't know about the front row. That front row appearance is kind of shit. Wade Graham off for a lot back in the side, but Hammond Willie, I don't know why he's starting off the bench. I don't really get that. Look, Sharks disappointed last week. Probably should have won against the Bulldogs, but they didn't. So, looking Melbourne were outstanding against New Zealand, the New Zealand Warriors. So, I'm going to have to tip Melbourne here. Melbourne in Melbourne. I can't go against them here. I'm going to tip Melbourne here, 28 points to 12. So, yep, and my first try scorer is Justin Olam. The second game on Friday is the Brisbane Broncos up against the Gold Coast Titans at Suncorp Stadium. Broncos, they have dropped Tom Dearden and Brodie Croft. It's funny because Tom Dearden has just signed an inked deal with the North Queensland Cowboys, the arch rival, so it's kind of pity that he's been dropped. but Milford is back in the side. How do I feel about that? Milford apparently played. I think he played well in the Intra Super Cup, so I guess he earns his position back. I suppose you could say. And Tyson Gamble, he's only played a few NRL games, but look, man. If he's up against David Fafita anyway, both those halves, especially if Milford, are just dreadful defenders. I know about Tyson Gamble, but they're just gonna be hammered all night anyway, whether or not. But by Dave Fafita, so Broncos let their team down last week. Their halves did. Brody Croft has not been great at all, so safe to say it's fair for him to be dropped. Other changes, John S. No, look, I don't know. I don't know why Asiata's not playing. He's a great ball playing lock in the middle. I think he could play. You could honestly put Patrick Carrigan front row, or even on the bench. Carrigan's been okay. He normally last year was very good, but I feel like he's been up a little bit. Matt Lodge and Payne Haas have probably been their best forwards, along with Pango Jr. And Daniel Levo was alright last week too. So anyway, for the Titans, Patrick Herbert and Lasono are out. So Herman Sasa comes into the side, and who is this? Okay, so Anthony Don goes to the wing. Okay, so there you go. Titans, you can see last week they are capable of challenging the bigger sides. You know, I thought they were going to pull off an upset or put a score on the Rabbitohs, but their defense, that's the thing. Their defense is not as good as their attack for sure. So they're really going to have to deal with that, but I don't see many points come from the Broncos. So I'm going to tip the Titans here, 30 points to 10. I think this should be too good here. I think Fed have another great game, AJ Brimson. So I'm going to go Titans here by 20, and my first try scorer is AJ Brimson. The next game on Saturday at Bathurst is the Penrith Panthers up against the Manly Seagulls. Panthers are flying. Obviously, they I just don't know how they do it. You know, this is unhammy on the trot. Not even on the trot, but you know they're just in a row. Outstanding. Appy Koroisau to bring things in. He is back for Penrith, so that's a huge in for them. I think that's it. Changes wise for Penrith. Yep, sounds about right. Manly are an unchanged side. I think looks like an unchanged side. Yep. You know they were great last week too. Look, the thing with this game, a lot of people have been tipping Manly. I think, oh, Manly's been playing good. They're going to win. Look, I'm the complete opposite. I think Penrith. This is a Bathurst as well, and you may think, oh, why would it matter? And it might not matter, but a lot of the Penrith players, their junior systems, some of them recruiting comes from out west, so Western New South Wales, so Dubbo, Bathurst, you go there, Forbes, etc., Parks. So you have a look here in the side. Charlie Staines is from Forbes. Matt Burton's from Dubbo, I believe. I haven't been stalking, don't worry, but I saw an article on that's people are tipping anyway. And Isaiah Yeo, I believe, is from Dubbo. So they've got quite a few players there that I reckon there'll be a decent crowd there up in Bathurst. I think even though I don't think the stadium will be too big, but I think I think they'll get they'll get a fair audience there. So look, I'm gonna go Penrith here. Sorry, I went to Penrith here by 16. I don't think this won't be by 30 or anything. This won't be a blowout. Because I know that Manly from last week, Tom Jabojevic is their key. Dave Jarvis was great last week. So was Kieran Foran. But I mean, I don't see any weaknesses in the Panthers' defense. Manly, they only conceded 6 points in the last 2 weeks, so that is fantastic. But up against Penrith's side, I don't think they're going to be able to hold them out necessarily. Manly have played Titans and Tigers, so not great sides. But anyway, I'm tipping the Panthers in this one. I think they'll just be too good. I'm going to tip the Panthers 28 points to 12. My first try scorer is Kurt Capewell, and my other try scorer is Charlie Staines. He could score 2 tries. And Nathan Cleary. And for Manly, I will go with Brad Parker. The next game is a rivalry. The Bulldogs up against the Parramatta Eels. Bulldogs have got their first win this year. So congrats to the Bulldogs. Yeah, so congratulations. They performed very well last week against Sharks. They could have lost the game, honestly, but they stayed in there to the end. Defensively, they were good, especially then you can see 12 points, so that's excellent. That should boost a little confidence for the side. Dalwitton is a Lesniak is named the reserves, and I think that's it. So I don't know whether you'd actually change it at all from a winning side, to be honest, but I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry, if a player does drop out. Maybe Katoa might drop out of the side, and Witten's Lesniak could come back in. But I don't think they'll change too much stuff in the side, especially. But Parramatta, on the other hand, they were very handy up against the Broncos and Darwin. They obviously gave them a handful. They gave them a handful, and Will Smith is out for them, and Ryan Madison is back on the bench. Okay, so I'm just naming the changes. So Ryan Madison back. I think this has been since round 2 or something. He's been out for, so that's really good to see him back in the side, at least. And yeah, look, Parramatta, as I said, very good against the Broncos. I thought in periods they did look a little bit what's the word? Didn't execute a lot of plays greatly, but I think still to score for 46 points against. No, if we score 46 points in general is outstanding. So was against the Broncos, I know, but I thought they were very good anyway. But look, I think Bulldogs will compete, but I think Eels they've got too much stronger of a roster to lose the game. So if Eels do lose, it's only them to their performance to lose it. To be honest, I don't think Bulldogs are gonna be in an arm wrestle with the Eels in this one. So I'm gonna tip Parramatta 30 points to 14. So Eels by 16, and my first try scorer is Tom Opacek. The last game on Saturday is the Knights up against the Roosters. Knights, they actually competed alright against the Panthers last week. The Panthers kind of blew the scoreline a little bit on later, but I thought they competed very well. I thought, especially the first half, I don't know whether I don't know whether they've been the better side, but they gave a fair crack anyway. You see they were trying at least. Out for them, Lachlan Fitzgibbon is in the reserves, and Gahama Shibasaki's out. So who is in for Shibasaki? He might have been in the reserves. I don't know. It doesn't say. Does not say. Doesn't say actually. So that's changed for the Knights. Roosters are Taukiaho is back on the bench, so that's a huge in. And Joseph Sawal is named the reserves. One change I noticed here is Tedesco's name at fullback. Despite that concussion last week, I don't think Tedesco will play. I think they'll rule him out late. I don't know when the concussion tests come out fully, see whether he's able to play for this round. But I reckon he'll be ruled out. I think Brett Morris, or no, it's not Brett Morris. I think Manu or Brett Morris will go to fullback, probably Manu. And then I think Morris will go to centre, and Matty Cavalli in the wing like last week. People say Osawala can make his debut, but I don't think they would, and they could. But I mean, yeah, I suppose it changed things up. Rather not have Brett Morris in the centres, but it doesn't really matter. I'm sure they're not too fast about that. But look, I'm going to East in this one. I was impressed by them last week against the Dragons for the most part. In Anzac Day, they were very good, especially Sam Walker. It just says just tells them they've done a great job without Luke Keary. So yeah, I'm gonna tip the Roosters here, 26 points to 14. So Roosters by 12. I might even go Roosters by 10. I'm going to Roosters 26 points to 16. My first try scorer is Bradman Best. The next game on Sunday this could be a good game. I think the Warriors up against The Cowboys. Cowboys very confident coming off um, 3 wins in a row. They beat the Rays last week, so in their mind that would be they're very good. They'll be very confident. Valentine Holmes was fantastic. Scott Drinkwater's been good the last couple of weeks. Even Colin Hess has changed to front row. Has been a success. But the biggest in here is Taumalolo back from his hand injury, so that's obviously a huge boost for the Cowboys. So Issa Masters, Mitch Dunner, all right. And for the Warriors, Reece Walsh is named at 5'8". Now I do think that is a good option, and Tuivasa-Sheck back at fullback. They had that experiment last week where Tuivasa-Sheck was on the wing, and then they had Walsh at fullback, and then Siren at 5'8", and then Nicarima halfback. I thought that was really stupid. I mean, why would you put Tuivasa-Sheck on the wing? I mean, I knew he used to play a wing in the past for the Roosters, but especially I don't get that at all. Why they did that? I know you're gonna say, oh yeah, you can have Reece Walsh, give him some time there, but not up against Melbourne. I mean, come on, you're just gonna get hammered. He actually played alright on debut. I got to be honest with you. I think he'll do a bit better at 5'8", but my problem with this one is defensively, he's getting it run out a lot. So I think that could be a target for the Cowboys. But I think that's a lot better than having Bailey Siren in that 5'8", because I don't think that works at all. Nicarima was poor last week, so they're really going to have to play a lot better, the Warriors. But I don't think their attack's too much of a problem. I think handling errors in their defence, especially the defence, I think will prove to be a big problem in the end. Look, I am going to tip the Warriors here to win. It's a hard game to tip, I've got to be honest. But I'm going to tip the Warriors to win by 4 points. I think it's going to be a high-scoring match. Jesus. Wow, I'm going to go Warriors very close one. It could be down right to the wire, but I'm going to tip them to win 26 points to 22. And my first try scorer is Rocco Berry. I think he'll get over. The last game we have of the round is the Dragons, St. George Illawarra Dragons, up against the West Tigers at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong. Ben Hunt is back. Their captain is back from injury for the Dragons, so that is very, very good for them. Very big in, and Clune drops to the bench. Ravalawa and Pereira are both out, so Max Feagai makes his debut on the wing. Apparently he's been very impressive in the reserve grades anyway. I think so, I'm not sure, but yep. Changes for who we have here. Let's have a look here. Yeah, so for the Tigers, Joe Leilua is back on the side. So there you go. You've got some really bad defensively shaped centers there. Leilua and Roberts are terrible defenders. Roberts has been, he's been pretty troubled, honestly, this year anyway. The poor bugger, and Leilua hasn't really done much either. His defense is pretty bad. He's just sloppy anyway, and the Tigers are very inconsistent. They compete against South, and they just flop against Manly. They flopped against Manly, so I don't know really. I don't know what the problem is. Because they've got some good players on their side, but I just don't know because they're capable. But yeah, I don't know. They could actually win this game if they wanted to. If they didn't even want to show up, then they get absolutely flogged. And at home for the Dragons, I think they'll bounce back from last week. They weren't great last week, but I thought that was really stupid last week. So I think Willie Army got ruled out late, so they decided to drop Clune to the bench. Put Jackwood 5'8", which was good, but they had Corey Norman halfback, which he can, but he's stupid. Plus, they put Ramsey at centre. Didn't make any sense. And then, that just made it worse because then Pereira got sent to the bin, and then Roosters end up scoring a lot of points on them. So I think they'll learn the lesson not to do that anymore. But anyway, I'm going to tip the Dragons here for sure. I'm going to tip St. George to win 34 points to 18. I think that'll be too good for West Tigers for sure at home. I think I'll give them a bit of a bath, especially early on. But I think West Tigers are capable of scoring a fair few points, I suppose. even though they're inconsistent. But my first try scorer is Matt Duffy, and I've got many time try scorers are Tommy Talau, and I'm going to go with and Josh Kerr for the Dragons to score. All right, that is it for the round. Thank you guys all for watching. My next preview will be out next week, and hope you guys are all having a fantastic day wherever you are. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.